Hello guys! We are students from University of Makati and we will be sharing with you today the vitality of being media literate. But what is media literacy? It is the ability to identify different types of media and understand the messages they are communicating. So how to be media literate?
With the rise of technology, you can get a lot of information in just one click nowadays. Because of this, people need to be more efficient at filtering the information they see online. Now, I will give you some ways on how to be a media literate. First step to be a media literate is you must learn how to recognize fake news. Fake news spreads faster than authentic news in Twitter. That is according to a study from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This may also apply not only in Twitter but on other social medias as well. As you can notice, most fake news always gets the attention of the people. This tempts them to believe, to share, or to express their reaction on it. So what can we do about this? One thing is not to focus on just the headline itself. Headlines are made to catch people's attention, so it does not really tell the whole story. Now, for the second step to be a media literate, it is to use multiple sources. One of the things you have to do to know if the information is fake is to check other sources which talk the same topic. By doing this, you will be open to the other sides of that information since different sources have different ways of delivering the news or information. This can help you to gain a more accurate perspective on an issue. Third step to be a media literate is to test the tone and language. A lot of people believe what they heard or read if it is conveyed in what seems to be academic or flowery language. It is important that you believe it because you understand the message and not just because you are amazed of how the message was conveyed. The fourth step to be a media literate is to question numbers and figures. You should also focus on these things. It is important that you learn to judge the numbers on the messages. For example, an article is circulating on Facebook which tells that studying in the morning before the exams is more effective than studying in the evening. Upon investigating, you learned that this study is conducted in just one class in one school. So this only shows that the information is not that credible. The fifth step to be a media literate is to understand images and the brain. To do this, you must know first that images can be a powerful tool in media. The images affect our motivation, attention, and emotions. This is where the part of our brain, which is called the visual cortex, enters. This part is where the visual processing occurs. This only shows that visual media has a big impact on consumers. According to an educator and media education specialist, J. Francis Davis, images must be read on at least two levels. First is the immediate emotional level on which we react in a way that taps our inner emotions or stories, and second, as products meant to influence us that way. Once you figure out how to do the latter, it will be easier for you to control their influence on you. The sixth step to be a media literate is to develop multimedia skills. Being in the 21st century, it is important to be a media savvy. You must be familiar with the various types of tools used such as augmented reality, which lay or place digital content over a real-world environment. You must know these tools to be prepared for the future technologies since these will be built off of them. The seventh step to be a media literate is to recognize bias. You must know which sources might highlight which kinds of facts, use various tones, and emphasize kinds of angles or context. You must also learn to recognize your own bias and which can influence your perceptions. A good example are those posts about President Duterte. Those people who held negative perceptions of him will believe and share posts which can ruin him even if those are fake news. On the other hand, those people who love the president will also more likely to believe and share posts which can lift his reputation even if those are fake news. The eighth and last step to be a media literate is to become responsible creators. Since people nowadays design and distribute information on their social medias daily, you must think about who you will be affecting when you post on your social media. Is what you're posting accurate? Or is it a visual material value or just visual junk? Media literacy is a significant part of our lives nowadays. It is more important now to teach media literacy than ever before because of the fast evolution of technology. This is why media education is now required to be taught in many schools across the world.
Hello! Let us now go to social media etiquettes. These are the 5 tips to use social media in meaningful ways. Number 1. Connect and communicate. Make sure you dip to social media to find and get a set of friends where you can connect to new people that you think will be essential and helpful to your growth and existence. Number 2, practice privacy. Again, do not share passwords. It is like a hygiene tool you use every day, such as a toothbrush. Do you share your toothbrush to anybody? Of course not. It invites bacteria. In social media, it invites hackers. Number 3, disconnect from negativity. Unfollowing and unfriending people that confuse you all the time. Be sure to surround yourself with people that will help you hype yourself up. Social media aims to entertain and satisfy your boredom during a long day. Number 4, practice self-control. Using gadgets and social media releases stress for some of us. However, we should limit ourselves, especially when your feed is showing you a glimpse of negativity. And lastly, promote knowledgeable content sharing. It is important that you use social media to communicate good and relevant information. Help eradicate false, fake, and satire news. That's it for social media etiquette. I hope you have learned something and try to practice them on a daily basis.
So now, let us proceed to the advantages of media literacy. It has been a vital skill in this digital era, and in this part, I will be discussing the 10 advantages of it to students. First, it meets the needs of students in the classrooms that are occupied by media. It makes the students to become wise consumers of media, managers of information, and responsible producers of their ideas using different multimedia. Second, it promotes critical thinking to students and helps to sharpen this skill. Different medias convey different messages, and critical thinking will help the students to comprehend these messages. Third, it promotes skills that will make the students collaborate confidently. Of course, if one is media literate, he will exemplify respectful discourses and build harmonious camaraderie among other people. Fourth, it helps the students to recognize point of view. As discussed by our professor, media literacy is not viewing media and analyzing it from a single perspective. Hence, it will help the students to appreciate that different people have different perspectives. Fifth, it helps the students to create media responsibly. Being media literate includes being knowledgeable about the words and actions to do, to say, and to avoid, because a single mistake can harm other people and it might be taken against the person who created a certain media content. Sixth, it encourages students to identify the role of media in our culture. Different types of media have different purposes, and from this, it will mold students' understanding and even force us to act, to speak, and to think appropriately. Seventh, it promotes the ability to differentiate real from fake news. A vast number of fake news are spreading quickly on social media sites, causing harm and uneasiness to people. However, if one is media literate, he can identify fake news and do some actions like reporting it. Eighth, It increases the students' ability to communicate their ideas and disseminate information. Media has a wide range of scope, and media literacy allows students to communicate to people who came from different origins. Ninth, it encourages the students to analyze, and lastly, if the students will learn media literacy collectively, the society will benefit from them because it will have citizens who are active contributors and erudite of socialization skills.
Now, we will go to the disadvantages of being media literate. There are top 9 disadvantages of being media literate. The first one is information overload. You are full of information and you cannot contain those information. Second, false positive. Third, the black market, underground, and scams. Fourth, bullying and trolling. Fifth, stalking. 6, addiction. 7, blindsiding. 8, socializing. And lastly is fake news. So we should just keep it balanced like life. Balance is good and is great. Thank you and farewell.